Welcome back to War Thunder and welcome to the Tiger P. Befehlswagen. This is an alternate variant of the famous Tiger tank with a slightly different hull from the original. Well, I shouldn't say the original, they were simultaneous designs. One was submitted by the Henschel company, which ended up being mass-produced, and the other was submitted by Porsche, which contained a few radical design elements that didn't work out all that well, and the body itself ended up being used for the Elephant tank destroyer. But here we are with the Tiger. You'll notice the familiar Tiger turret, shorter 88mm cannon, and our goal today is to destroy medium and light tanks of the enemy, so we'll see if we can accomplish that. But the reason that I'm sharing this recording with you is going to be coming up later in the match, so enjoy these first few minutes where nothing really too exciting is happening. Spot an enemy around the corner there, and we get a look at him. Ugh. Man, you know, I've forgotten how sluggish the gun handling is on this particular tank. Turret rotation speed abysmal. Gun wobbles around like an undercooked hot dog, and anytime you change position, it's just flopping around like a fish. So you gotta kind of account for that. It kind of ends up being disappointing because this gun could do so much work if it just would get on target a little quicker. And as you can see, post-penetration effect of those 88mm rounds is still very satisfying, even though this particular variant of the Tiger does not get the improved explosive ammo in the Panzergranat round that the other Tigers got when Japanese tanks were introduced with the heavy tank number 6. Or, I should say, shortly after they were introduced. Japan got to enjoy the limelight for a while, with the heavy tank number 6 having a round that could very reliably one-shot enemy tanks, and we just couldn't quite get the shot on that. I think that's an American T-20. Fun tank. We're hoping he's going to come around this corner, but no luck. He's not feeling suicidally aggressive. We'll have to find someone else. There's definitely shots coming out of the big scary forest, so clear it out. Put a good shot into that Walker Bulldog's engine. Set him on fire. We pick up the assist so we know he's out of the way. It looks like there's more people in that forest though, so backing up to not expose ourselves from crossfire from the town. And we spot movement, pop a track on what appears to be a Japanese medium. We got one into the cannon breech. Lucky shot. That is the one that has the autoloader, so it can pump 3 rounds downrange in fairly rapid succession when the crew is not knocked out completely. And we decide to move into the scary forest, watching our flank. I just don't trust those bushes. I always get shot from the side when I drive past this spot, and oh, hello there, house. How are you today? Fancy a cuddle? You know, sometimes you just need a hug. Speaking of which, more about that later. Over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. I hope there's no American or Japanese light tanks between me and where I want to be. You know, honestly, I don't know where I'm going. I just hate having all these bushes to my side. I'd much rather wrap around them and maybe get a look at the C point. Wrap around the B point maybe, but first we gotta clear out any flankers. There's always flankers in this forest, and when I play a light tank or one of the predominantly lightly armored medium tanks, my best bet is to flank around in that forest. Those bushes that I'm passing now are one of my favorite spots to hang out, so I fully expect an enemy tank to be in the area. Again, on that hillside that I was checking with the binoculars, almost always people camping there, but it must be rainy and cold somewhere because camping season seems to be closed on this map. We take a hit from a Walker Bulldog. Cannon on that tank can go through around 230 millimeters of flat armor. At the kind of range he's engaging me now, he feels aggressive, pushes to get to my side. I managed to get around into his engine, just a little too far back to wipe out the crew, and his next shot took out my cannon. Another one takes out the barrel and breech. So now, cue music. It's time to cuddle. We're just gonna hug faces until one of us repairs our tank enough to take our relationship to the next level. So, I'm using a trick that I saw the Orange Doom demonstrating with one of his tournament videos, where I'm watching the enemy tank's cannon barrel and I'm just trying to presume where he's aiming, observe if you will, and turn my turret to be angled effectively to deflect his shots. It looks like he was aiming at the cupola a little bit there. Now he's aiming for the side of the turret. Bounces off. I'm just giving a little bit of wiggle, paying attention to what he's doing, waiting for a chance, and there I have it, and the round touches his barrel and then disappears. That was truly disappointing. I should have had him there. We're repaired, but he's got a shot at us. I back up, and I turn the back of the tank toward him so he wouldn't get a shot at the side. Get one into the turret. We've taken out the turret ring. Cannon breach, and the turret crew. We have him. He has a hard time getting around us, but again, the gun handling on this tank is so slow. And an ally takes him out. Thanks for the help, bud. Kind of anticlimactic. That's not how I wanted to end that relationship, but you know what? It just feels good to be alive. We live to love another day. Pushing into the town, at this point I'm starting to realize that we're probably going to win this match. Why? Well, this is why. Most of the enemy team is not on the ground, they're in the air. Some of them, I saw a Zero in the sky, there's a P-47 with bombs, and you know, those bombs should have had me. There was a high explosive nerf quite a while ago when everybody was complaining about bombers in War Thunder, and they later came up with a more effective method of dealing with the issue, which was to take away the bombing reticle for specialized bombers in realistic mode, and that worked really. I think that accomplished what the community wanted. Removing the power of high explosive rounds, you know, it really harmed the functionality of a lot of vehicles that I enjoyed to play, and bombs just don't do quite as much as they should. But hey, not my problem. We're playing in the current meta now, and it allowed me to live to get a couple more kills. I'm gonna pick up 2 more kills in this match, and the way that it ends for me, not all that fantastic. You're soon gonna notice that even though this is a tank realistic battle, the only tank I have in my lineup, the only vehicle in my lineup, look at that beautiful Tiger II-H. What a gorgeous vehicle. Now the guy who's driving it is not going to be angling his armor effectively, and while I'm sure he performed fairly well in the battle, there we go, pick up a kill on that Chinu Kai. He could have done a lot better if he would have angled his armor, and you're gonna watch him get outflanked, but maybe I speak too soon. You can just see it for yourself. What was I talking about? kind of got distracted. So we're gonna pick up a couple of kills. Thankfully I'm getting like all medium and light tanks, which is my goal. I need to get 10. I'm gonna pick up 4 with this match, so hooray. Oh yeah, right. So this is the only vehicle in my lineup. Napalmwata on YouTube recommended giving this a try, and it's something that I do with this particular tank because Germany doesn't really have any rank 4 5.7 vehicles to back, or I should say 5.7 tanks to back up this beautiful Tiger. And this tank itself can be rather frustrating to play, so I like to play it in a dedicated way. It turns out that the Stur Emil is now a 5.7, and being a rank 4, it can complement this tank nicely. I'll have to try that out. But in this match, I'm using this tank alone. And it really helps me to get a feel for this guy, because it has an armor layout that reminds me of the Sherman Jumbo that I love to play. It's probably my favorite tank in the game right now because armor is actually a thing. And just like with this tank, you need to face directly towards the enemy, unless you're being sneaky and cheeky and getting them to aim for a weak spot and then tilting it out of the way just at the last second. But unlike the Jumbo, the turret on this tank is not as well armored as the body, and it can face enemies that have things like heat FS with 200, 300 millimeters of penetration. The Walker Bulldog that I faced earlier, a light tank with a fantastic fire rate, can punch through my frontal plate if I don't angle it, and if I do, he can punch through the sides, straight into my crew compartment, straight into an ammo rack. And you've probably noticed that I don't carry much ammo with this tank. Helps with the survivability. Now we saw that STA-1 coming around the corner. He took out the Tiger 2 who was facing in the wrong direction. When somebody pops smoke, just expect them to flank. And he's coming around the flank. We're lining up our shot, almost reloaded, and we get taken out by the NATO. That's the end of the match for us. Well, I shouldn't say the original. They were simultaneous designs. Where if it just would get on target a little quick, pump 3 rounds down range. Have him. He has a hard time getting around us, but again, the gun fairly well in the battle. There we go. Pick up a kill and love to play. It's probably my favorite tank in the game right now. That's the video, folks. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Feel free to share the video. How do you feel? I love it. Yeah. I thought it was pretty great. Bye-bye.